What's up, and welcome to episode 56 of Brewing Through the Multiverse. We're a Magic the Gathering podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm Joel.
Yeah. We have real beer. Well,
oh God.
Dare call it real beer.
The shadow of a real beer.
Yeah. Hey, it's got ABV. That's all that matters. We're not picky over here.
It's a nice breakfast beer. Light. Cash.
It is. I'm hurting a little bit from yesterday, so. But how's your past 2 weeks been, man? You play any Magic?
No, I was in Missouri for a work trip this past week, so didn't get much Magic in then. But we did play yesterday, which was great. And actually, I think we played. Didn't we play the Sunday before I left too? Actually,
yes.
Never mind. I did play Magic. I did play a lot of Magic. It's been a good month for Magic.
Yeah, it has. We've been pretty much every week, and I know we're scheduled with Troy to play again on the 22nd. So we're just going to keep on busting it out until we can't bust out no more.
Fuck Mark Madness. We have Mark Magic. March Magic. Mark played Magic as well, but
Mark playing Magic in March.
Mark's March Magic Madness. TM.
I love it. But yeah. So we've played 2 long sessions of Commander. Now the few episodes ago, I was talking about I meant to break up some Commander decks. You know, there were some I think it was time to cut and everything. And after the 2 weeks, I realized I love every deck I have, and I cannot cut them.
Just need more.
Yeah, that's what it really is. Is like I'll add another 1 or 2 decks to it, but I really like where my decks are at. I had a great time both weeks with every one of my decks.
This includes junk.
This includes junk. I love playing junk again, and it wasn't super powerful, and it was kind of, long-winded. But at the end of the day, it did everything I wanted to, and I was happy playing it. So junk is no longer on the chopping block either, nor is Massacre Girl, and we're gonna keep them all. But how about you? How'd you feel about your decks? Because we got a lot of time to play. So,
a lot of my decks are in a really good spot. I think one thing that I've consciously tried to do is to consolidate, like more of the staple kind of cards, to like a couple of decks, and have those be like my higher power decks. Because like, when's the last time you saw me actually cast like a Cyclonic Rift or Teferi's Protection? You know what I mean? Or a Rhystic Study.
Very much so. No, I 100%. I've seen you do the Mystic Remora. I've seen you do a Flood of Tears. You definitely have replaced all of the staples with the not staples that are still kind of filling the spots you need. So I 100% have noticed that.
So yeah, so I've really enjoyed the brackets. Not that it helped, but I really enjoyed thinking like consciously, like, okay, we're gonna leave these as 2s for when we're playing with people that are playing, mildly upgraded precons, or we're looking for fun, and then having some 3s for my more focused things, and then only really having like 1 or 2 quote unquote 4s for like when we're really banging it out. And eventually I'm working on a CDH deck too, so I'll have one of everything basically.
Yeah. Yeah. No, brackets don't mean shit. But it did definitely highlight some things and at least make a conversation to look through. Because, I mean, even yesterday when we were playing, we kind of highlighted some cards like, oh, that's a game changer card. This one kind of could and should be a game changer card. And it is something that's aware. Now, you're saying it has changed your building to where you are actually not putting them or taking them out. I haven't felt it, but I don't know, it's a good push in the right direction for such an open-ended format.
I did have a breakup with some decks that I've had for a very long time. Most notably for me, I finally broke up my Abzan Blink deck, which I've had for a long time. And it's just because there's been too many times when I was playing it, and actually, quick sidebar, the most recent EDH Rec podcast episode was about you have too many decks and you need to break them up. It was like, that was literally the title of the episode. And I was like, oh wow, I was just doing the same thing. but to continue, I didn't really like how it played too. There were too many times when I either had all the blink and no value, or value and no blink. It seems like without like tutoring for things, it kind of just never aligned fully for me.
Right.
And there was also a problem where I just had it for so long that I just didn't feel like I could break it up. And then, you know, one of the things they talked about on that other podcast was just, like, just because it's gone doesn't mean you don't have the enjoyment of having played it in the past. Like, it's almost like a relationship, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's over, but like, you've grown from that and you have those memories, but it's time to move on.
It really is like a breakup. Absolutely. That's funny. Yeah, it's a good thing when it happens that way, and it is that mutual feeling where you are happy to close it up. Um, but I tell you, I didn't feel that. I expected that from some of my decks playing, and I don't know. I'm at 4, 8, 11 decks now. What are you
You have
at?
room for one more.
Yes, I do. Yeah, Mendicant Core. That's going to be
There it
it.
is. What am I at? Jesus Christ. Definitely over 12. I want to say it's like maybe 17 or 18. Huh. Yeah. I'm trying to think of how many decks are in the back section of my binder. Landfall, Cormac, 20 Ways to Win.
I wonder
Yeah,
which one's
looking
which
at
is a
like
more
probably
normal
20.
number. So is 20 or 10 the average number for Magic players? What do you think?
I'd say it's definitely closer to 10 than 20. I mean, you hear about the people that are doing like the 32 color challenge, or like I built a deck for every commander, some crazy shit like that. But I feel like most people probably are rocking like, I don't know, 3 to 5. Though our play group's average, if I recall from the stats, was like 12 or 13 decks a person.
Yeah.
That was skewed up by myself, Melissa, and Connor, though. But people are definitely
Yeah.
running. I would say probably an average of like 6+ decks.
6 to 8 is what I would say. Yeah, that sounds about right. Because that's where, in my heart, I want to be, is at 6 to 8. That's what I keep on trying to regulate to, but it doesn't seem to fit in my pants that way. I'm a 10 to 12 deck person, you know.
So here's a question that I'll ask you, because I've said before, but my builds philosophy is I usually like to build on like a theme. Like, all right, I want to have a reanimator deck, so I do. I want to have a tribal deck, so I do. I want to have like a big creature deck or a fight themed deck. I'm very rarely building decks around like, oh, I like this commander and I want to like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more just a theme, and I pick a commander that will help me build the theme in the way I want to. Besides maybe like the Mothman or Captain America, but um and generally speaking, that's how I kind of approach it. Like, what strategy do I not do? So, are there any strategies that you haven't built or you don't currently have that you're like, oh, I really wish I had like a real artifact deck, or an enchantment themed deck or something?
Wow, you're kind of blowing my mind right now. I've never really tried to build a deck by theme. I
Really?
100% build decks by the commander or by a card that I want to build around. Um, I mean, besides like frogs, where even with that, it's not the idea of like, oh, I want to build a frog deck. I wanted a weird hoppy, thing that I built around a few cards of it. So um no, in terms of themes, I mean, I guess not so much because there's the dice roll, but I only decided to do dice roll because Will looked cool, So uh no, there's real no thing. I guess if I was to choose a theme though, like haste is something I'm always talking about.
Yeah,
I
haste space deck.
Yeah, I think Henzi kind of carries as a haste deck because a lot of the stuff is gonna have blitz. But at the end of the day, the blitz gives haste, but secondary, the idea is for it to die at the end of turn and take advantage of it dying at the end of turn. So I would say probably haste would be the next thing or theme that I decided to build around instead of a card. I always thought that the My Little Pony 5-color card would be great as the commander, because then I get access to all 5 colors with haste. It'll allow me to do some cool stuff to draw cards when things hit, but also pump them if I need to, sacrifice if I need to these things. At the end of the day, it's silver bordered, and we've talked about that. Like, yeah, I talk about putting it in, but I'm not gonna. The new Temet is a nice version for that, but Sama, not Temet. But yeah, no, probably haste. How about you? Because you got a lot. What is still something that you haven't tasted yet in the Magic world?
I've I don't have a dedicated. I have 2 artifact-ish decks, so I guess that kind of counts. Never mind. I was about to say like an artifact-focused deck, but like House is essentially mostly artifacts, and but it's dice roll artifact. You know what I mean? Like, and then the new deck I just built, the Masters of Evil deck, upgraded, is like Dalek artifact creatures. So,
yeah, but it wasn't taking advantage of artifacts. It's just a lot of your cards are artifacts.
Yeah,
that was a cool deck though. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I had a great time with that.
Yeah.
Doctor Who again coming in clutch. Everyone should have fucking got more of those cards. They're fun.
Yeah. Every card seems to be a lot of fun. Very commander focused. Build arounds. Fucking Doctor Who. Are they cheap? All right. Is that one of those sets that now is more expensive because no one bought it? Or is that one of those probably lower price because people have it in stock still?
No, I think it's it's shooting up. Not shooting up, but it's only going to go up because it was only, I'm fairly certain it was only collector boosters, which is historically like a print one and done print run. And then the commander decks, some of them are cheaper than others, like the Bant one I think is usually pretty cheap, and then the Jeskai one I want to say doesn't go for a lot. I'm not quite sure. There's 2 of them that like aren't super popular. Masters of Evil's in the middle, and there's one that's like way jacked up, but it's only going to go up from here, to be honest. Sealed product.
Grabbing one. I think I'm going to grab one. As long as John has them in shop, I might grab one just to give it a go.
I think he has, the old doctors. Let's bring him up. Hold on. Doctor Who. Do you recall if this was a set where all the, like Fallout, where all the cards were in the decks?
I believe so. Yeah, because it was pretty much, it was like Warhammer, where it was just the 4 decks, and then they had some packs to open it, but I'm pretty sure everything should be in the 4. Because Fallout only had like a handful of cards that weren't, right? Like Strip Mine or something like that they had done, right?
Yeah.
Wasteland, not Strip Mine, Wasteland, which makes more sense. Yeah, that was a cool new deck of yours. What else did you sleeve up over the past 2 weeks? Because there was another deck that I know you sleeved up last week.
Oh, Storm.
That's right. And yeah, and you got a pretty impressive win with that. Underwhelming for most of the game, and then the last minute you just
it dribbled out. It was gross. It was just one of those games which are not my favorite, where nothing is going right, and then people kind of leave you alone, and then all of a sudden at the end, after everyone's like broken and bloodied from like fighting the actual threats the whole game, you just kind of like, oh, I have the things I need to do to close it out right now, and like no one was like paying attention. I did get down to 5 life, but I feel like I was spared more that game because of the situation of my board state.
Right. It was still, you still did like 15 damage to everybody. So it wasn't like we were at 2 life and 1 was already out. You did a lot of damage, but I know what you mean on that feeling.
Oh yeah, going back to the Doctor Who, it's the Teamer and the Bant ones that are that are cheap. It's the Jeskai and the Grixis that are the more expensive.
Okay, that makes sense. I'll grab one of the unloved ones and give it some love. Give it a
Yeah, the
try.
Teamer one is actually the foundation for my loot deck.
Mm. Which also that played out of control.
Yeah, I'm I know you say it a lot too, but I also like it just because it's so like silly. It just doesn't do it, like, not doesn't do anything, but the cards that are just cards that I don't use anywhere else for any reason.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes for interesting games though, you know, like whether you win or not, that it's a
Like
good
the
experience
battles.
to
The
play.
battles are shit.
Yeah.
Please, Wizards, give us better battles.
Oh, they're working on it. Don't you worry.
Well,
They
I
have a
think
set just for battles coming up. I know it.
Mark Rosewater did say that battles are in a set currently in design, so we're gonna see them in the next year or two.
Space battles, man.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. That'll be my guest and forecast is there will be battles in space for sure. Hopefully. I don't know
You know,
about
I'm
the space set.
really? You're not excited about the space set?
Well, yeah, man. Listen, there's gonna be cool instants and sorceries, but like I was excited about this dirty Wild West. I was excited about this. What if it's literally just a bunch of people with spacesuits on? You know?
Well, the artwork they posted showed some cool, like, fucking. Hold on. Now I gotta bring this up. Now I gotta defend Wizards.
Because, like I said, who is it? The professor had called it that we're in the hats era.
Yeah, era. Though
And
one critic. Oh, sorry, go on. You finish.
I was gonna say that's exactly what it feels like. It's just gonna be, you know, space helmets. So
One thing I will say that was a criticism of that post in particular was that he's not wrong in the sense of, like, you know, that definitely feels like it's happening, but at the same time, they designed sets like 2 years in advance, so nothing, like, they could take all the feedback now and say, yeah, this is a bad idea, but you know, they can't do anything about what's current, you know, like what's currently coming.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
we just
no,
gotta
definitely.
kind of dig through it.
Yeah, and you know, I've been the defender of all of these sets, even Either Drift. I'm the guy who's gonna die on that hill saying that it was a great set and everyone should buy it and love it. But
Great set, he says.
great set, and it's in standard a lot right
What's
now.
a bad set?
Honestly, Murders was probably my least favorite set. I did not like Brothers War at all. I think that the draft environment was really bad. So, I mean, the best set is Duskmorn and Bloomborough.
Can you see this now?
Yes, yes.
Weird. Okay.
Oh shit. Okay, nice,
All right, look.
nice lands.
Yeah. These are the lands. These are fucking cool as hell. We got some Tezzeret. Looking
Nice.
all Tezzeret.
Gritty.
This looks fucking sick as fuck.
Yeah, it's gonna be a Boros legendary commander. Hopefully,
Ain't some angel bullshit.
yeah.
And then we got this like robot-y dude fighting with some like oily shit.
Oh shit, is that Phyrexian oil there?
I don't know. It's black. Maybe like ferro liquid, like that shit that can like harden. I don't know. And then-
Ferrofluids. Yes.
Ferrofluid, yeah. And then even the artwork on like the commander decks, like this like robot-y looking dude and this like bird alien.
Listen, I've been tricked too. When they released the artwork for Held to Pay on Thunder Junction, and it was just fucking Rakdos in a hail of fire. I was like, oh, this is gonna be out of control. So they lead with their best foot forward. And
True.
I'm sick of being so hyped for everything all the time and always then kind of trying to hold it as it like falls through my hands. So I'm gonna be a little skeptical on the space one. What I am all in on is the fucking Dragons of Tarkir.
Oh yeah.
That is gonna be That's going to be in the books as one of the greatest sets of all time. Just from what's been shown, the artwork, the style, I think we are going to love it. Everyone's going to love it. And in terms of in-world IP, this is going to be the fucking best. Because obviously everyone wants Universes Beyond. But in our IP, this is the shit.
One thing I found cool, a tidbit about Tarkir, is that apparently the theme or the identity that the clans are built around this time around is going to be the returning color. And I thought that was an interesting way to approach it.
Do we know if there are going to be commander sets to this also?
What do you
Has
mean?
that been announced yet? So like, are there going to be commander decks to this set?
Oh yeah, there's 5. There's one for each clan.
It's already shown. Okay.
Yeah, in fact, I think the commanders have even been spoiled.
Oh, okay.
I think the commanders have been spoiled. It's going to be the commander and a spirit dragon. I know that the Abzan one was spoiled.
So this is my problem then. This is set, but also these commander sets are very alluring. They are the siren that calls me to my own financial demise. It's crazy. Because I'll build a deck every once in a while, but wanting to buy these every set, like Zimone.
Yeah,
I don't want to break up Zimone, but I bought her as a precon. I should break her up. I fucking love her. I can't.
just edit her. Just zhuzh it up a little.
No, I like where she's at too. I don't want her too powerful. She's already very like long-winded, you know, like she's exactly where she should be. She's great. But also like it's a precon and now she's taking up a whole spot. Henzi. Yeah. Henzi was let me just buy this precon. And it ended up being a deck that has lasted longer than almost any other deck I have. Fucking precons.
Precons are great. They're great starting points.
I know. And great finishing points. Listen, I'm not a starter, but I fucking love them. I love them.
Which one would you want?
From the new Dragon set? I don't know. I haven't looked through them yet. I wasn't even
just sure based on the colors, though.
All right. So what are the colors? I don't have it pulled up here.
Sultai, Temur, Mardu, Abzan, and Jeskai.
I mean, instinctively, Mardu. Temur's probably going to have the best dragons. But probably Mardu, I would say, just, blind shot.
Yeah, I don't know if we have any of the Mardu cards besides the Inevitable Defeat.
Mm-hmm.
But the Sultai dragon is pretty... No, I forgot. No, it's lame. It looks cool.
Lame.
Well, it's one in Sultai for a 4/4 flyer. When it attacks, you mill 3, return a land from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, you make a 2/2 zombie druid.
Okay, so here are these 4 commander decks. We also have the Final Fantasy spoiled.
Oh,
fuck. Does that taint your want for dragons because we're already talking about Final Fantasy 2? I mean, the cactus is obviously going to be something. So like, is this too much? Should they chill out with all the spoilers, or fucking give us info as soon as you get it? We would love, like we love info. Give us it. So what's better?
I would have preferred if we would have just gotten all Dragons of Tarkir spoilers and then none of the Final Fantasy spoilers. Because I do think it has kind of like, I'm hyped for Tarkir and I have been for a while, but I'm also very hyped for Final Fantasy. And I feel like it has taken away some of the fun of the Tarkir spoilers. Because now I'm just thinking of how I'm going to build this fucking cactus deck.
Yeah. It's okay. It's like, we're doing a lot of audiobooks right now. It's like trying to listen to 2 books at the same time, where it's like, I want to be all in on Dungeon Crawler Carl, but I'm halfway through the Blade itself. So
yeah,
am I diminishing my enjoyment of one because I'm trying to indulge in both? It's kind of what it feels like sometimes with this stuff. But
well, yeah, just from keeping my commander deck number down too. Like, I definitely want the decks, the precons from Tarkir, but I know I'm gonna want to build the Esper deck from Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So that's already like two, and that's not even like with cards that get spoiled in the set, because there's almost always something where I'm like, that card would be fun.
How about this? How about one day we get sadistic as fuck? Let's say the beginning of 2026, and we pick 5 commander decks and we break up the rest. And we almost do like a great
Oh my
purge.
god. Well, okay, so that's a sidebar again. Something they mentioned on the EDA Trek podcast is apparently there's a guy out there who does his own YouTube series who, at the beginning of the year, breaks up all of his decks and resets yearly, and then will build from his collection the decks that he wants to play. And like, which of your decks would actually get rebuilt?
I mean, every year is a bit much. I mean, people fucking couldn't even handle rotation in standard at 1 year, So I don't know about that, but I do like the concept of that, of like, hey, the great reset is coming. Let's purge these decks. Yes, we love these decks, but there's so many corners of Magic that we can diddle with. Let's break it down. Here's our fucking 4 pillars. These 4 decks I love. I don't want to break these up. Everything else, let's break down, and then you have a fucking build fest. It'll be a magical orgy of just deck building and putting cards in and out of different decks to test them. It'd be amazing.
Hell yeah. How about I'll meet you at 8.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
I'll meet you at 8.
50% purge. That's what we'll do. That way everyone can scale to what they have, and you do the 8, I'll go down to my 4 or 5, and
all right, so cut in half.
Apart. Yeah.
So December 31st, the number locks in, and January 1st, half of them get destroyed.
And then we're gonna do a snap on our decks.
Yeah, we'll call it the snap. All right, 2026 is the snap. That's scary to think about. I wonder which ones I'll have by then and which will survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but that's the
thing. Build it all on Architect. Make sure everything's locked in on Architect. That's all.
One thing I've enjoyed doing is actually like combining other decks. Like I have the Reanimator deck, but I love Abzan, and I was thinking like, well, I broke Kalia up, and I have a bunch of angels that don't have a home. Where could they go? And then I was thinking, and demons also from Kalia. So I was thinking, why don't I just turn my Reanimator deck into like Carador, Abzan, and then I could fit those cards in the Reanimator deck. So I like the idea of like mashing decks together too. So maybe I'll end up doing that a bunch.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, because so I have the mono black, my artifact deck of Massacre Girl, and I kind of want Mendicant Core too, which is also, so like, why not do an Esper artifact deck where I can get everything in there?
What in the black is keeping you an artifacts? I am still baffled by this deck. This deck doesn't make sense to me.
But it plays really well. It has a great win rate. No, it's just
what are the cards you like to play?
I like the Orthanc of whatever, a Palantir of Orthanc. I love Aeon Engine. I love Bucknard's Everfull Purse. I love the that rope spell, like not the Nev's disc kind of thing where you can pay to put ropes on them. I love being able to play that the Great Door.
All right, hold on. Let me ask this instead then. What in black do you love to play about? Like, what is the black doing for you?
You get to do all the removal in the world. You get black market. That's the one with the 5-mana enchantment. Whenever a creature dies, you get a black. You can put a counter on it, and the beginning of pre-combat main phase, you get that much mana.
Yes, black market.
Black market. Okay.
Yeah.
Black market. You have Dark Ritual, you have the Urborg and the Cabal Coffers lands, your mono, so it's almost like you're colorless. It's just they pair up so well, and like I'm doing dumb artifact shit, but also don't you dare build a board. And then while things are dying, I'm drawing cards, I'm getting more mana, and that lets me do more artifact stuff. I don't know. It pairs up really well, and having Massacre Girl herself as the commander, to where during all this I make a little puzzle of like, how can I board wipe off of my commander? I know I'll bring this out. I'll sacrifice my own goat to scry. Now it re-triggers it all. We keep on snowballing, and then, hey guys, Palantir, do you want to take the damage? Like, also there's a scrolling crawler in there, dude.
The scrolling crawler. I can't forget about scrolling crawler.
All right, as I'm saying this, you can tell I'm very excited about this deck. I do enjoy it. It's fun to play. I don't know. Maybe I do break this one up because these are all cards I like, but I could put them into decks that are better suited for those cards. I'll still be able to enjoy them, and it's one deck down.
Why not just make it like Dimir? You don't feel like there's any... Blue has so much artifact support. What are you talking about?
But I already have enough artifacts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then now you have the support. You have counter spells.
Okay. Here, you have the new Winter is a great commander for this to put the blue in. That if I was to add blue, the new Winter from the set would be what I add to it.
There we go.
And it makes more sense too. It's also going to deal damage, and it's a board wipe, and he gets the blue in there because he's a board wipe. Let's pull it up. Let's read it out here. Okay, so the new Winter is Winter Cursed Rider. He's blue and black, so 2 mana, 3/2. Ward, pay 2 life. That's a great commander to have protection. Artifacts you control have ward, pay 2 life. So now all my artifacts are protected, which is awesome. And it has exhaust 2 and a blue-black, tap it. Exile X artifact cards from my graveyard. Each other non-artifact creature gets -X and -X till end of turn. So it's also a board wipe if I need him to be. What do you think? That or
I like that. I like that a lot.
All right. Does Winter have an alternate art? If he does, maybe I'll do the swap. Where would that be?
Another cool one is Basim Ib Ishak. I'm probably saying that terribly, but one of the Assassin's Creed commanders.
Okay, read him to me.
He's a blue and a black for a 2/2 human assassin. Whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. He can't be blocked this turn, and that ability triggers once each turn. When he deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on him.
Oh, yeah. That's nice too.
So draw a card off your first artifact each turn. Seems pretty nice. Put a little Vildakan Ori in there to play things at instant speed. Yeah, trigger that each turn.
All right, maybe that'll be one of the cards that one of the decks that definitely get. Yeah, that'll definitely, whatever my next deck that gets ripped up, it'll be Massacre Girl. She's done her thing, and I could still breach the multiverse in a Dimir deck also. So, all right.
I like the Winter too. The Winter was a good call.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I could just get both and swap them out. See which.
Porque no los dos?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. I want my cake and I want to eat it too. I'll put them both in there. If you had to rip up one deck right now that you did like, what would be the sacrificial deck?
Oh, probably Cormac.
Okay.
I like that deck. Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah. I just don't see it having like the longevity. Another one that like I'm gonna play it for sure next time we play is I really enjoy the Captain America deck, but I have a feeling it's going to be one of those like does the same thing every time kind of decks where I'm really just gonna try to find Excalibur as quickly as possible and then throw it at somebody. You know what I mean? Like it just seems like that's the optimal play pattern. And I've run into this issue before too, where I'll build something that I think is fun, and then if it only does just the one thing, and it doesn't really ever pivot away from doing the one thing, then I tend to get bored of it pretty quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, which I mean, it doesn't make it not a good deck. It doesn't make it not fun, but just sometimes it's got a shorter shelf life. That's all.
Yeah. Then one where there's multiple avenues and you can be like, oh shit, like what am I going to get this game?
Right. I think that's Henzy's strongest point and why it hasn't been broken up is although when Henzy's out, it's like, okay, you want to get out some stuff. Any creature in my deck wants to get blitzed out. So it's never like, oh, I got to look for the Archfiend. Oh, I got to look for a Tali. Whatever's coming out, let's see what it is this time. So, yeah, more avenues, a bigger highway to drive on is always good.
No.
Well, I wish we had more spoilers.
Yeah,
I
same.
want to talk about new commanders, but they're spoiling. They're sucking at spoiling.
Also, I'm thinking for Cactus, currently I'm chilling on Saskia.
Ew. Okay. That way you can take out two people at one time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, all right, so you need green. Here we go. We're brewing out loud. You need green for the Cactus. You need red at least because there's the most fling effects in red. So you got green and you got red already. So then it's like, all right, so if you're building your deck around a non-legendary creature, how are you most consistently going to get that creature out? So then it thinks like, okay, well then you got to get tutors because you're trying to find the tutors. There's tutors in green, but there's also the green-white tutor, Eldmiri's Call. So there's that one. And then if you're talking about tutors, you're talking about black as well, where, you know, there's the classic vampiric demonic. So then you get those two. So that's black and white on top of the green and the red. And then the debate is like, is it worth just throwing in blue at that point for like counter spells and unblockable?
No, I don't think you need blue because counter spells and unblockable you can replace with protection spells from green
and white.
And yeah, so I mean, Snakeskin Veil is
Tyvar's Last Stand or Tyvar's whatever.
Absolutely.
Tamiyo Safekeeping.
Right, and Tyvar is good too because it'll give it trample too. So it's like, okay, you're gonna chump block. Well, I'll give it trample, and at least you'll die from that death. So I don't.
And then I'll fling it at somebody else.
Yeah, because I think the counter spells at the end of the day, you're going to need to be as aggressive as possible. And any card you have in there that's going to tempo you back, I think will stop that bull rush that a giant cactus needs in order to be impressive. That's my personal thought. I mean, obviously, yeah, a few counter spells will be good, but I think protection spells will be more worth a counter spell. I like the idea of getting white in there because then you could get Stout Arm in there that's going to throw the cactus too. You can get that protection. You can put up a little bit of a, the Pillow Fort, the Ghostly Prison and everything.
The whole deck, yeah, literally would be an engine just to fucking find the cactus.
You're a cactus farm. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So I think white, the Naya would be your best bet. And if you were
black.
to cut a color, what are you going to use the black for? Just a tutor?
Yeah, it has the strongest tutors. No, more tutors. If the entire deck is built around, because here's the thing, the entire deck is built around fucking throwing the cactus. It's going to get removed. It's going to get countered. It's going to get destroyed. So then you need a whole suite of things that are going to get the cactus out of the graveyard. And then there's only really one thing that can get it out of exile. But you know what I mean? Like, you need that shit. So
are you running like recursion spells? Or
yeah,
are you
I would think
run the green, like Ewits and the Virtuous Strength and stuff like that to pull it out of the graveyard? Or are you actually trying to reanimate?
All of the above. Nothing would be greater than attacking somebody with the cat. This is the dream. Attacking somebody with cactus. Saskia redirects cactus to somebody else. You fling it at the third person. That's the goal. But then, yeah, reanimating it after it dies. Because, yeah, Ewit, there's like 2 Ewit effects in green, but black has way more recursion.
Well, okay, so we have Ewit itself, we have Green Warden of Marassa if you want to get weird, because although it's 6 mana, it'll bring back 2 cards from graveyard. There is the Virtue. There is the modal faced land or the dual land that Gaia's whatever that'll pull it out. There's the snake, the Sidewinder that comes out with Death Touch and lets you take it. Like, right, there's just 5 that I took off my hand. I don't think you need black, because really at the end of the day, putting it to hand, it's just as good as putting it on the graveyard, especially if you're going to spend 1 to 2 mana to get it out of the graveyard instead of 5 or 6 mana to get it onto the battlefield right away. I would go with the green and fuck the black. I would go with the white and fuck the blue. I think there's enough going on to where you can be very consistent. Your mana base isn't going to be too greedy. You're going to be able to draw a shit ton of cards out of the green. Like, at the end of the day, just have some like big faced creatures that are going to put pressure on. And when they deal damage, you draw cards. That way, you know, yeah, you have 5 tutors, but half the time you might not need to tutor. That cactus might be drawn right into your hand, and then you could use your tutors to go get a Skelv, you know, the little guy who
or use your tutor to get a counterspell or a psychotic.
Yeah,
5 color.
Right.
Here it is.
I think that'll be spread too thin. I think that's a greedy idea. But
yeah, exactly.
I mean,
trying to kill.
Yeah, if anyone's
cactus,
that sounds fair. All right.
Because remember, the entire goal is to throw this fucking cactus at people.
But like, you do that stuff, then you won't have room for shit like Rhythm of the Wild.
Yeah, you know? Fuck it.
Because
the goal is just to get that cactus on the battlefield and throw it at people.
But you got to attack with the cactus first to get that activated.
Yeah. Ability. Okay. So turn 1,
you got to get that haste.
Turn 1, you entomb the cactus. Turn 2, animate dead. Turn 3, attack somebody with the cactus, and fling, and that's 2 people dead. And then it's in your graveyard.
Bracket 4 cactus.
You tutor a reanimate spell. You tutor the Ewit to get it out of there.
Shit. Okay, can I want to call it now. If there is a VV commander and he is not ass, I would love to have it. That is my character that I resonate with the most in Final Fantasy. I need VV. I can't wait to see what card they have for him. And
all right, fair. I will not even look at it. I don't even want to know what it does.
Don't even look at it. Yeah. Yeah. I'm fucking dying for that. It sucks that they're not showing. I am such a fucking hypocrite. Yep. I'm such a hypocrite.
Yeah. We learned it here live, folks.
I need to know more about Final Fantasy, but also don't you dare talk about it until you finish Dragons of Tarkir. I want everything all at once, please, Wizards.
Yeah, Final Fantasy is like delicious fucking dessert, and it's like, oh, the dessert looks good, but we got to finish this plate of steak and eggs. I don't know why it's steak and eggs, but that's what's on the plate.
That's 2 great things. I'd be excited for both.
Yeah, dude, I was trying to think about a Final Fantasy character that, like, the only character that I would say I was like, oh shit, that's fucking cool as hell would be Auron. But I have a feeling Auron is going to be some like uncommon bullshit.
Yeah.
One of those like legendary creatures that like doesn't like clearly is supposed to fit in another deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't know. I hope they do multiple commanders of each one, you know, like they did with Lord of the Rings, where there was 5 Gandalfs and everything.
That I guarantee, yeah.
Yeah. That's
because there's already like confirmed 2 Sephiroth, at least 2 Sephiroths, 2 Clouds.
Yeah. Yeah. Lulu and Waka are my other characters that always resonated.
You can't have Lulu. We're all sharing fair. Lulu. We're all sharing Lulu.
That's fair. I'll surrender Lulu for Waka. Waka's like
fuck Waka, dude.
Exactly.
Fuck Waka.
Yeah.
I never ran with Waka.
But I took Blitzball real seriously. I played so much Blitzball. And Waka just was that dude that was always playing Waka. I hated him, but I loved him at the same time. So yeah, Waka resonates. Okay, we talked commander. I need to know something for standard. Are you ever going to meet me on the standard field? Or, and no pressure, I'm just curious on your mindset. Is this, even with all of the standard cards coming out, not something Spider-Man's coming out? Is it at least tickling you, or do you kind of feel that confirmation of no, I'm good?
I would be more likely to play modern with you than standard.
Okay. Nice. Nice. I'm not playing modern, so
That's fine with me.
we'll just meet on the commander field always. That's all.
I just love command. I love Commander too much. I don't. It's not that I'm against the idea. It's that Arena doesn't do anything for me. Arena's like looking at porn. It's just like gets you off, but it's not the
Addictive,
same.
and I need to do it every day. No,
It's not the same as the real deal, though. You know what I mean? You're leveling, pressing
nuts
that
and
deck.
nut, baby.
No, no, it's not. No, it's not. Bullshit. Yeah, so that doesn't do much for me. And then I know that I'm never gonna go make it on like a Friday to play paper. Maybe a Saturday. But like I think I will, but knowing myself, I'll go like one time and then never go again.
Yeah.
So it's like, I know I'll play Commander, and that's kind of what I stick with.
All right, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, and in my off time, I'm playing other video games because there's a fucking Civ 7 came out. Monster Hunter World Wilds. Monster Hunter Wilds just came out. There's mad shit to play.
That's definitely part of it. Is that you are an avid gamer, and when you are going to game, there are other games that you are going to game, not the fucking game that you play in paper. So that's fair. It's been great though. I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
And the
Esper Bounce sounds great.
Esper Bounce has actually not been, well, I've dropped down to gold since the rotation, so I haven't been seeing any Esper Bounce, and I don't know if it's falling out of meta or what.
Nope.
But
not according to MDG Goldfish.
Oh, okay.
My single contribution to Standard Talk.
All right. Well, shit. Did anything new show up from either on that list?
From what I'm seeing is the top two are still Gruul Aggro and Esper Bounce, which are like right on top of each other. Dragonautics Engineer made its way into Gruul Aggro, 4 copies of it. Do you know what that does? 2 mana, 2/2 with exhaust.
Menace start the engines and it gets double strike when you're max speeded.
No.
Oh.
Dragonautics Engineer is one in a red for a 2/2. Exhaust is pay a red. Other creatures you control gain hastily in the turn. Put a 1/1 counter on it, and then exhaust for 4. Create a red 4/4 red dinosaur dragon creature token with flying.
Oh shit! Okay. Damn. I haven't even seen that yet.
Yeah, that's a 4 of them. Oh, then Afterburner Expert. Okay, so it's actually kind of cool that the Gruul midrange deck is actually like Gruul now instead of just being all red with like Questing Druid.
Yeah. And the Afterburner Expert is the one that lets you exhaust more than once, right?
Whenever you activate an exhaust ability, return this card from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right, so Aether Drift is here, and it's playing in the competitive. There it is.
Yeah, what else do we got? The Esper Bounce, anything from that?
Yeah, there's the black enchantment that Troy was talking about 2 weeks ago that made it into there, where your opponent has to sacrifice their creature, and then
Momentum Breaker.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah, so that's in there. I played against a few Mendicant Cores. There's also the blue-white gear. There's this awesome blue-white deck. A lot of board wipes, a lot of perilous snares, a lot of any sort of removal, and then the Gear Hulks, the blue-white, which will take your best creature, put it at the bottom of your library. It's got double strike and prowess. And then what they do is, because it's all these artifacts, they run Perilous Snare instead of the enchantment removal to pump up on artifacts. And then there's the 5 mana Voyage Home. Gain 3 life and draw 3 cards, I think is what it is. But it's got affinity for artifacts. So for
Oh
2
damn.
mana, you're just drawing a ton of cards. It's going to trigger your Gearhulk with the prowess. You're going to swing in. You're going to get more counter spells and bounce spells. It's a fucking awesome deck, and a lot of it is from Aether Drift. So a lot of Gearhulks actually. I had a Gruul deck finish me off with the Pyrowood Gearhulk. Like those Gearhulks are around. So I hope once rotation happens, they are a lot more prevalent.
I am going to Aether Drift. There's some sets where I'm like, for instance, Bloomburrow is like this, Duskworm is like this, where there's so many things that I want out of it. I'll happily buy a couple of packs just to see like what Overlord might I pull or something like that, or what Curiosity or Enduring, whatever I might pull. Lots of great hits in there. Aether Drift has none of that, and I think I'm just going to buy one copy of each of the Gearhulks.
Yeah,
and probably never buy another pack from that set.
That's fair. That's all you need. That's all you need. I mean, and
an Aether Spark too.
I gotta grab an Aether Spark for sure. I want to grab it now because it's low. I think it's under 30 right now. So before it finds some bullshit deck that it's gonna break in Modern, let's grab them. You know.
And the Catcher Most is still like $50 or something.
Yeah, fuck that. That card's gonna go down. There's no home for that. It's eventually gonna lose its hype.
People are hyping it up in CDH.
Well, that's great. They're gonna get their copies, and the price will go down because no one plays fucking CDH. It's gonna end up going down to like $18, and I'll buy it then. I won't even. What the fuck am I putting that in? Fuck this shit.
It's a great card. I don't know. As an Orzhov player,
it's all right. Yeah, listen, you have to exile a bunch of shit from graveyards, otherwise it's literally just sitting on your deck, you know, on your fucking battlefield. So you have to build around it. It's not just oh, let me put this in, gain life, and do that. It's like no, I gotta activate this bitch.
Is Mardu your favorite 3-color combo, or is it
on
Jund?
paper? On paper, it's supposed to be Mardu, but I think Jund is where it's at. I mean, obviously, red is my favorite color. Black should be my second favorite color in theory. I don't play any Rakdos in Commander.
Xantcha.
And then but do I play her? Do I play her or do I just have her?
You just have her.
Yeah. She's just my little trophy wife. Yeah, Mardu. I'll say Mardu even though I don't believe it.
Do you have a Mardu deck?
Junk.
Yeah.
Junk. Any Mardu or Rakdos deck I build is never what I'm so excited to whip out. So that's why
why is that
hesitant to say it. I don't know. I don't know if the colors just aren't good in Commander, or at least for what I'm trying to do, but they never quite hit. So what would you say your color is identity wise and then Commander playing wise?
I mean, I love single color.
No, 3-color. What's your 3-color?
Oh, identity? I would say. I mean, it's hard for me not to say Abzan. I love that, but I also feel like I've often felt like Esper more so because I like the blue.
Yeah.
For like protecting myself from other people's bullshit.
Yeah.
But I still like Abzan a lot. I still play a lot of Abzan. I have 2 Abzan decks currently.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, that's the hardest thing I think I have is what I identify as a player isn't actually what I play. And then that makes me question, am I not identifying myself correctly? Or
could be if you don't like playing those cards, if you're not excited about it.
Yeah. My thing is in every other format, in Standard, in Draft, I am all in on Rakdos. I will build Rakdos every fucking format and Draft and Limited Rakdos. But when it comes to Commander, I don't want to fuck with Rakdos. It's just the weirdest thing. I don't know why. I don't know what it means. don't know what it means.
Well, I mean, part of it too is just the fact that in 1v1, it's like you can just go balls to the wall, like smash into somebody. But in Commander, you're either going to make everyone hate you and want to kill you, or you're going to run out of gas and not be able to kill everyone. Aggro strategies in general in Commander aren't the easiest.
Right. Maybe that's what it is, but I don't know. It's definitely something I've recognized, and I'm all right with it. But yeah, standards have been good. Hey, I have one fun or trash. And I guess we have to rename this, because fun or trash doesn't actually identify whether it's a good card or not, or whether it's actually fun or not. I don't know, but we're gonna keep it as fun or trash
until we have a better name. Yeah,
but
it's trash.
It's trash. Wait, hold on. So let me explain. Let me set this up a little bit. Okay, so you're playing standard, and you're playing a bunch of these bounce decks. And you're like, man, I really got to find a way to not have a problem with discarding. Stingerback Terror, again, as an aggro Rakdos player, typically, Stingerback Terror is two red for a 7/7 flying trample. It gets -1/-1 for each card in your hand and has plot 3. I've been running this. Like I said, I haven't run into too many bounce spells, but I'm ready to where as soon as I see them having me discard, I plot this on turn 3, and then when I'm, next turn on turn 4, I have this card out, and although I've lost much of my hand, I have a possibly 6/6 flying trample to start attacking. I think I'm being smart, but I haven't been able to put it to the test yet. Do you think that this is a viable thing?
Fun.
Right?
This is for sure fun. If you're playing an aggro deck where you're going to be dumping your hands, I could see running 2 copies of this on the top end. Why not?
Right? Because just turn 3, you put it away. You could do it on turn 2 if you drop a Llanowar Elves on turn 1. And then turn 2, you just put this away. That's not an important turn anyway. And then on turn 3, there's your 3/3. Because you still have a hand. And then you drop shit. And I don't know. I like this card. I think it has a home for sure moving forwards. Even if you self-mill yourself, like, I don't know. There's got to be something with this. But I found this recently. I want to run it. I have it in 2 decks right now that I'm testing, but I haven't come across bounce.
I mean, it'd also be cool to like have a couple of combat tricks in your hand and swing, and they think it's like a 3/3, and then it's like, all right, no blocks. Okay, here's this buff spell, and here's this other thing. Now instead of being a 3/3, it's a 5/5 plus whatever you cast on it.
Right, yeah, because not only did you pump it, but you also lost cards in hand, which will grow it also. And it's got the trample, which is pretty good.
When Temur Battle Rage comes back into standard.
All right, everybody, buy your Stingerback Terrors right now.
We're calling it.
Right now.
No, I think this is a fun card. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna test it. I'm gonna, I have to move up on the rank a little bit. I'm still in gold right now, so I have to get a little higher up to face the more meta decks. But yeah, Stingerback Terror. It's a good time. Boom. All right, man. Well, not a lot of spoilers, not a lot of news, but by golly, did we play a lot of Magic these past 2 weeks. We'll be doing it next week. We'll have Troy on. We'll see how he's doing with his standard. I love that you had gone to the shop yesterday and you're like, I saw him, man. He was digging in the dollar bins.
Dude, there's some gold.
I know. I think we should give him an entire segment of what did you find in the dollar bins?
Bulk finds.
Yeah, give us your fucking treasures, because it'll help us understand that it's worth it to look through these, and 2, it'll kind of help motivate people to go buy these dollar cards from the dollar bin, where it helps the shops too. All shops have these dollar bins, and they're there because it's like, well, I have so many, please. So to have more people hunting through and finding these cards is always a good time.
When's the last time you looked through a dollar bin?
When I was building Goldberry, I dug through through it. I was looking for a few things that were way too cheap to be of ordering online, and John didn't have it in the case. And
That is
so
my least fucking favorite thing, when you have to spend $10 on shipping because you needed 3 cards that are a penny.
right. And I'll pay $1 for the penny card because it's still cheaper than the
Yeah,
shipping.
then
I
the
have it in hand.
shipping, 100%. Just the time to look for it. That's the only problem, is if I'm playing something with multiple colors, like monocolor, 2-color, doable. But once you're in 3 colors and it's like, okay, you need to look through the monocolor bin of each one plus the 2-color bins of each one plus the 3-color. It's like too much time.
My biggest problem with it is I end up getting real sidetracked, and I'll buy 20 other cards that I don't need just because I'm like, oh, this is good value. And suddenly I spent $33 on the $4 worth of cards that I needed. Where it's like, oh, maybe I should have just ordered it online. But
I've done
also
that too.
I've got all these cards now, you know?
Sometimes I'll just pick cards because I'm like, in the future, I might want to build a deck with this card in it, and I don't have it.
Yes. And then I don't put it away properly. And then when it comes to the time to build it, I order that fucking card anyway.
Yep.
But I got another one somewhere.
I've done that. Well, I'm right now in a good organized spot. I only have 1 box of unorganized stuff, but everything else is organized by set and color.
Not me, man. Not me. I'm half, or no, I'm not. I'm lying. I'm a fucking shit show over here right now, dude. They're in organized piles, but piles nonetheless. So
yeah, I ordered those big boxes again, just because I found historically that's just the best way for me. Otherwise, it's just gonna be piles all over the place.
Yeah, fucking piles. And now, right now, with the knife show, I have my whole kitchen is well, my dining room is just taken up with knives and glue and boxes and wood, and I'm already taking up too much house space. My poor wife, poor Dana, she'll survive. She's got a cool husband playing sick decks.
Sick decks.
So lucky. But anyway, here it is.
That's
Bottom
the
of the
bottom.
glass right here. So good and tasty. All right, man. Until next week, we'll get Troy on here. We'll dig into standard. We'll find out what's going on, and hopefully we get some more dragons spoilers.
Spoilers.
That's the goal. Take it easy.
All right, so long.